Now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little, back at the home studio. Big Nick the Quick with me. You see him. What's the business?
Out here, baby. Man, chilling.
We got obviously playoff bubble talk.
Yes.
We're going to lead the show there. The NFL comes back Thursday.
Man.
Shout out
Didn't
Mahomes.
think we'd see the day.
Shout out Mahomes. Shout out Watson. Everybody getting the money. Everybody's paid now. Everybody's happy.
Except for Mitchell.
Yes. So we're going to talk. Let me take a step back. We're going to talk bubble ball. Lakers, Rockets last night. Lakers let Rockets hang around, but they closed it out. Speaking of closeout, Miami closed out Milwaukee last night. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Giannis. And then we'll trickle into a little bit of the Eastern Conference Finals. There's a couple interesting series going on. Especially that Clips Denver is semi-interesting, but we'll get into it. NFL, back Thursday. Like you said, it's back. We made it.
I was the biggest person on the this isn't happening train, so it's crazy to me that it's happened. Like I think it was like Monday. I was like, damn, we really have NFL football in 4 days and a full slate on Sunday. Like, can't wait, man. I cannot wait.
NFL
I don't think
ball.
I look forward to anything more than Sunday in a long time. Like I cannot wait.
Yeah,
whole day planned, no movement.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. That starts tomorrow. Full slate Sunday. We have to touch Mitchell Trubisky, Nick Foles, quarterback competition. We're gonna talk Odell Beckham Jr. being in the news for extracurriculars. DeAndre Hopkins got a new deal out in Arizona. What a situation from him.
Yeah, great for him.
Gets out of the Texans, gets a brand new sparkling deal, more guaranteed money, and with a young quarterback, a young coach, offensive-minded coach that looks like they're going to try to throw him the ball a ton.
It continues to look like a terrible move by the Texans, and it sounds like it was all because he didn't get along with Bill O'Brien, who I think is the president of the awful coaching chapter of the NFL.
Yeah. So we'll get there, and then we'll close the show segment called Stop the Cap. All this capping y'all doing, all these tweets, all these takes, stop the cap. We're going to talk about Giannis. We'll talk about any other hot takes that are on the internet. Stop the cap right now. Y'all are tripping.
Yes.
Big Nick the Quick. What's been up? Back at the home stew. We missed a week, but we back now, ready to talk some shit. Man, I'm excited to talk about the NFL. Last we talked, the NBA, Luka hit one of the best shots I've ever seen to close out a game. That was great. But yeah, man, what's going on?
Man, not too much, man. Just enjoying September over here, man. Transition to fall a little bit. Good time of the year, Can't complain. NBA playoffs rolling, NFL rolling. Finding some normalcy in life, I guess, amidst all the chaos.
Yeah, this shit is normal now for sure. Let's jump right into it. NBA bubble ball, playoff bubble ball, Lakers, Rockets. Let's start there. This guy, it's so funny when you see LeBron come out and actually really wants to play. It almost makes me suspect about like, what the fuck is he doing in these other games? Because like when he comes out like he did last night, it's the only word for it's unstoppable on the offense and defensive end. He's a very, very big problem.
And you can see it, like you said, you can kind of see it like early on in the game, really from like the opening tip. Like when he has that look in his eyes, like you're like, okay, yeah, this is a 30 banger for LeBron, easy.
Well, bro, he had 5 points. He had 5 points in like first 2 possessions.
Right.
You
see what he's on. He's shooting threes. He's doing his thing. He's going out there. He's looking aggressive to score. The only reason I could see that why he's not doing that all the time is that he knows the team can't win that way. So he can't come out like that all the time and try to go for 40 because he needs to get the other guys involved. The problem is outside of AD, these other guys are having a hard time getting involved. Like I think we knew some of these guys were suspect. I don't think well, maybe we did know the level of how suspect they were going to be when push came to shove. Whether it be Kuzma inconsistent, I guess Rondo, they just reactivated him, but like guys like KCP, like these guys are real trick or treat type guys. And Bron obviously knows that. And I think he had probably, sat through the last game and was like, you know what, man, I'm just going to come out here and do my thing. I'm not going to wait for these dudes to catch up. I know AD is going to be available and he's going to do his thing, but I'm not going to wait for these dudes to catch up. And that's what it looked like last night.
But they caught up last night. Rondo goes 8 of 11, 3 for 5 from Trey. Kuzma goes 7 of 10. And then Caruso pours in 5 points. Poured
him in, man. Lay him on. He was tired after that one.
I mean, that's 37 points off the bench. That's 40. They had 42 points off the bench that they weren't. There's. I can't remember the last time they got 40 off the bench. Yeah. So it's going to be tough for them to lose when that type of stuff happens.
Where is Danny Green?
You know what? This is typical Danny Green.
Is it, right? Though? Because he hasn't had that Danny Green game yet, though. Like he's very inconsistent, but he hasn't. Where is his moment?
Danny Green disappears all the time and is a 0, and then will show up in a game 6 and go 6 of 6 from 3.
Yeah,
it's almost like he lulls you to sleep and then shows up all of a sudden like
they forgot about me.
Yeah, y'all gonna leave me open, huh? Like,
let me pull out the torch real quick. Yeah.
Exactly. He's been a 0.
Big 0.
For kind of a little bit of a stretch now.
I feel like he's been a 0. I don't remember him having I'm sure he's had a good game throughout the playoffs, but like you said, he has those 6 for 6 games in him. He had hot games in Toronto, he had hot games in San Antonio. It seems like with this Lakers team, he's just a guy. Obviously, he still has value because he plays D. He can do a couple other things, but yeah, he needs to score, man. So yeah, they did show up last night, but still, offensively, this Lakers team is troublesome.
You know what it is for Danny Green as well is really big confidence guy.
Yeah,
it's like if he gets off to an early start and he's hitting jumpers,
he's got to have it rolling.
He'll tend to have a good game and he'll continue to shoot jumpers. If he comes out early and misses a couple jump shots, he's swinging the ball. He's not trying to. He doesn't want to rock the boat at all and have people talking about him like they talk about PJ Tucker sometimes in the corner or Russell firing crazy. That he just kind of I'm off today. Let me stay in my lane and get out the way.
Yeah, to your point, he was 0 for 3 on threes last night. So I'm sure after that third one was over with, he's probably I'm gonna do something else.
I'm gonna go ahead, swing this.
Yeah.
Swing it. One more.
Definitely.
So, but I'll say this. If they continue, and I say I'm talking about the Lakers, if they continue to just let the Rockets hang around like they did, because the Rockets were hanging around until the fourth quarter.
Way too long.
8 minutes left.
Yeah.
It wasn't like this was a 10-point game the whole way, and the Lakers ended up winning by 10 points. It was tight until they went on. They went on like I want to say it's like a 17-5 run, or they went on a run in the middle of the fourth to kind of separate it and close the game out. But there's one team you don't want to hang around, and that's the Rockets. They could hurt you.
Definitely. You know what? I actually disagree with that. The Rockets to me aren't scary because they're the Rockets, and I feel like they're just a beatable team. Like I see to your point. Yeah, we've just seen this movie too many times to where they're not like I wouldn't want to let like Dallas hang around. Like as crazy as that sounds, the Rockets for whatever reason just don't terrify because I think they have way too much that they need to figure out. But at the same time, like you need to put up more than 100, 112. Like you need to get out there and start scoring because the Rockets aren't gonna consistently put up 102. Like they got that 130-point game in them for sure. But I don't know if the Lakers are scared of the Rockets and they're kind of playing that way. Like you see what I mean? Like I don't know if they're necessarily scared of the Rockets. I'm not scared of the Rockets.
Like they're just on cruise control.
I think they're cruising. Yeah, I don't think they're worried about this team, man. I don't think the Rockets are a really good regular season team, but yeah, I don't know. Especially this iteration of the Rockets. Like that team is so disjointed. Russ is out here. Know what Russ is doing half the time. Like, yeah, it's It's a different thing. I think they're going to get out of this series. But I think the real trouble, 100%, which we've always known, is going to really start with them against this Clippers squad.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've been waiting for, right? Like we've been waiting for that game since Kawhi went over there. This is what we've been waiting on.
Well, let me ask you something though, because this is something I was thinking about the other day. So this Lakers situation, obviously, you got an aging Bron, you got AD, and really not much else as far as guys that you plan on carrying into the future, right? You can do whatever you want to at Kuzma. Eventually, you're going to have to pay him, which is really going to fuck up your cap because that guy is a candidate for overpay. We talk about Fred VanVleet getting overpaid. Kyle Kuzma will be overpaid for the rest of his career. So you're going to have to pay him. If you're AD, are you looking at that situation and saying, hey, you know what, man? If we don't get it this year, like, do I really want to stay in this situation, or are there better situations around the league for me to attach myself to if I want to win?
You stay as long as Bron's there. Period. Point blank. As long as LeBron James is putting a Lakers jersey on, you put a Lakers jersey on. And as soon as he leaves, then you can start making decisions on if you want to be in LA and have them try to rebuild around you, or you leave and go somewhere else. As long as LeBron is there and he's putting on a Laker jersey, then you got to stay.
I don't know, man. I might look at other situations if I'm him. I don't know if they don't win this year. What tells you that they're going to win next year? Are you talking about
like what, demanding a trade?
No, I mean he's a free agent. Isn't AD a free agent after this year or after next year? His Lakers situation. I thought it was
after like next year.
I think his Lakers situation is short term. Like he has to opt back in or something like that because he never signed. Remember, he's still on that last year of that deal and then Pelicans deal, which is why they traded him. Yeah. So I think that he's a free agent. He has to re-sign with the Lakers. Not demand a trade. Sign somewhere else.
So what you're saying that I thought he had one more full year, but we'll look it up.
He has whatever it is, he has the ability to leave. But yeah.
So you're saying get ahead of it and be like, look, we just had a full season with LeBron and this solid supporting cast. I don't really see what can happen that would propel us to be even better than we were this year, next year. So if we don't win, then close it out and go somewhere else.
Player option this year.
But where you're going to have a better option, where's that at?
Well, I don't know the cap situations around the league. Yeah,
but I hear you. I think that's what you got to decipher, right? I get what you're saying. I don't think leaving LeBron to go somewhere else would give you a better chance than playing with LeBron in LA.
Fair.
Unless I think there's a very specific few folks that you'd have to link up with, and one of his name is Kawhi.
Yeah, so Kawhi comes calling. It's like, hey, Bron, man, thank you.
Right.
I want to go play with Kawhi.
Yeah, it would be tough for me to see a reason to leave LeBron unless you were going to go do some like you, and I don't even know if him and Giannis would be a good fit. I don't know. That's an interesting dynamic for you to bring that up. But man, from what I saw last night, Bron gonna be playing for a fucking while.
True.
He's catching lobs with his head at the rim. He's throwing layups at the top of the square, throwing them back in people's face, throwing them back to the 3-point line. Boy looks fresh to me. So
yeah, I mean, we've never seen anything like this, but at the same time, like, you know, what goes up must come down eventually. And
yeah, and it will. But hey, man, aren't you the guy that always says you're gonna be the last one off the ship?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm gonna be the last one off the ship. I'm riding with LeBron forever. I'm just saying, if you're AD, if you're looking at the rest of the landscape for the league, and just saying, man, I want to win titles.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, to your point, yeah, without knowing the rest of what's going on with cap situations, where you can go, who you can sign with, what you can do, who you can play with, what you can put together. But at the same time, we've seen these things come together quick. Guys decide they want to play together, they make it happen. Yeah. So I mean, if he got with a few folks in the bubble and they're like, hey man, you know, you just never know what could happen. I'm just wondering if, I guess before it was like, hey, LeBron's in town, it's a guaranteed title. At least one, you're gonna get one. He goes to Cleveland, you're gonna get one. He goes to Miami, you're gonna get one. I just don't know if the guaranteed LeBron title is here in LA with the way the rest of the league is starting to stack up.
I mean, they're gonna be favorites.
Yeah.
They're going to be right there in the mix. I I understand what you're saying, but they're gonna if LeBron is with AD, they're gonna be in the mix. They're gonna have a shot to win the title, just like any other of these top teams would. So it's
Fair
tough,
enough.
but I hear you.
Yep.
Let's move to Heat Bucks. Now, I heard all the chatter. The Heat are gonna beat the Bucks. The Heat gonna give the Bucks a lot of issues. And you know what, Quick? I didn't believe my eyes, bro. We talk about it all the time. Go watch the tape.
Ball don't lie.
Milwaukee was never right from the start of the restart all the way through.
And don't let me hear about the Giannis injury either. Giannis or no Giannis, this team was not going to beat the Miami Heat in the second round of the NBA playoffs. It just wasn't going to happen.
No, if anything, they looked a little better.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And you really knew, like, it was after game one. This series and Celtics Raptors. I just knew after game one, I'm like, these are the better teams. Like, for sure in the Miami series, I knew this is a better team. This is over with. Like, they have no answer for what Miami is doing to them. And it really exposed some of the shit with Giannis as far as some of his limitations, and exposed the bad coach. You know me, I call out bad NBA coaching when I see it. And this guy Budenholzer, I've been saying it since we got in the book. I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he refuses to play his star players more than 36 minutes. And he had no pivot. He had no offensive pivot.
Yeah, he's one of the he does no adjustments, period. And the sad thing about that is this goes back all the way to last year.
Same thing
in the playoffs. It was the same thing. There was no adjustments being made and they got bounced.
Yep.
Then
but the minutes thing, I don't get the minutes thing. I don't understand why Giannis is coming out of crucial game situations in the fourth quarter because you have some predetermined lineup that you feel you have to stick to. But in the playoffs, everybody says, like, hey, man, like, you know,
let the
boys loose. He's like the anti-Thibodeau. You know what I mean? Like, no, I will not play you.
Can you imagine Thibodeau watching this guy? He's like, yo, this guy is
what's this guy doing? I think it was game 3. It was a close game, and they sort of just took Giannis out in the fourth quarter to give him a breather. And I'm just and Giannis called out one game in the first quarter. After 5 minutes, he called out. He asked for a sub. I'm like, what is going on? What is the culture here?
Yeah,
and he got kind of and Van Gundy killed him. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, you got to play through. It's the playoffs. And he came out after 5 minutes. I'm like, Giannis. And they're like, but Giannis plays hard for those 5 minutes. I'm like, I don't give a damn. Everybody else in the NBA plays hard. Jimmy Butler plays hard. Jimmy Butler puts in a shift daily. He didn't even get a haircut down in Orlando. He didn't give a fuck.
He doesn't miss a shift.
He doesn't miss a shift at all.
And even when he's not producing on he's making an impact across the board.
100% gets to the line.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where he'll show up with 28, and there's a lot of times he'll show up with 13. But how about this? There's guys that you look at and you're watching and they disappear and their presence is not felt. Jimmy Butler is never that guy.
Nope. There's guys, if they're not scoring, they're completely useless.
His presence is always felt on the court. So that's a big thing you can appreciate about Jimmy, about the Heat. Yeah, man, they never got right, the Bucks. I was wrong on that. I shout out my guy Derek Williams. He hits me. We're talking about the series, and he's like, look, and I for whatever reason, I'm so fucking hard-headed that I didn't like take into account that like this guy's played with these guys before.
Yeah.
And he's like, bro, I'm telling you, these guys are gonna give these dudes a hard time. This is the thing. He didn't say it before the series. I talked to him after game 1. And he's like, bro, these guys are going to give him a real hard time. Now, I think he kind of thought it already, but then once he saw it, he was like, oh, yeah, this is like.
It's bad.
Yes, it's bad. It's bad.
It's bad.
Bad, right? So he's like, bro, these guys are going to win in 5. I'm like, 5? I'm like, dog, nah, at least, like, I don't know if they're going to win the series talking about Milwaukee, but it'll go 6 or 7, 5.
Yeah.
Bro, it should have been a sweep probably if you really want to know.
Yeah.
So
definitely. I think they got what was it, game 4 they won? They got lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. So it went to overtime. Like
that series was over after game one. You saw what it was. You saw what Miami was trying to do. You saw what their whole goal was, and you saw that Milwaukee had absolutely no pivot from it. And whether that be coaching or whether that be Giannis limitations or a combination of both, like Miami, everybody had said that. To your point, everybody had said Miami was a bad matchup, and it 100% came true.
Yeah, here's Giannis after the closeout series yesterday.
Looking back to the bubble, obviously, and nobody's going to be happy, for the outcome that we had in that playoff run. But at the end of the day, you got to learn from everything that goes on in your life and in your career, and hopefully we can learn from this and get better as a team and come back, and hopefully we can build a culture in Milwaukee that for many years that we can come out here and compete every single year for the championship.
Is anybody more committed to their brand than Giannis? I've never seen him not wearing a shirt with the swoosh that says "freak" above it.
That's what you got to do
everywhere.
We're gonna get to the whole building a culture for many years to come in cap or no cap. We're gonna talk about that. But I saw Jamal Crawford had a tweet, and he was like, "I'll say this about Giannis: he doesn't make any excuses," and that is true. Yeah. And I do like that. He doesn't come out and point any fingers. He just says, "Yo, we didn't get it done. We're gonna try to come back."
Yep.
How do I say this? Is there an issue with Giannis's game for the playoffs and to win a championship? What does he need to change to kind of, bro? I guess what I'm saying is I'm looking at the last 2 years in a row, and nobody really seems scared of these guys, and they don't really seem scared in the fourth quarter with Giannis with the rock. Is it because he can't shoot free throws? Is it because his game is a lot of just go to the bucket? I don't want to say is he like a regular season guy, but what's the deal? Why they got smoked. They got ran off the floor. They were busting everybody's ass all year. They get to the bubble, and maybe that changes things. I get it. There was a break in play. I understand that. But it's still the playoffs, and you run into a 5 seed, with a bunch of young players. These guys are young, and they ran y'all off the floor.
It's a bunch of young dudes, and then Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic.
Yeah.
So look, shout out Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder, man, I apologize. In this series, you added the 3 to your 3 and D.
Yeah.
So
you
look,
get
man.
What I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen. We're here. Told you last year where we would be.
Yeah, I'm gonna find that clip. I'm gonna put that up
on this show. I told you the feel-good story ran out after the Toronto series last year, right? If he didn't come in this year and do his thing, which he did in the regular season, and then have a lot of playoff success, which he did not, this question would become what you literally just asked me. Is Giannis Antetokounmpo a regular season guy? Look, I'm not ready to label him that. I think at the end of the day, we got to remember that he's still only 25 years old. And if there's one thing that he's done is consistently improve his game. Add to it each summer, add some more moves, get better things he wasn't as good at. So I am still holding out hope that he will add a jump shot. I don't think he needs to be a knockdown shooter at all, but I think he needs to have a consistent, reliable jump shot that people can fear. And then therefore you cannot play him the way that Miami and Toronto have played him over the last 2 postseasons. Because when you do that, you're essentially daring him to shoot. You're daring the other guys to shoot because you're so committed to packing the paint on Giannis that you're not really focused on the other guys. And I honestly don't think a lot of coaches have the heart to play that style. So I don't think you're going to see too much change in the regular season. But what happened is each of those last 2 years, he ran into coaches and teams that were 100% equipped to play that style of basketball. And I don't know if that's going to change, right? If you look at the Eastern Conference, Philly can do that. Boston can do that. Obviously, Toronto can do that. Obviously, Miami can do that. So it's not going to get any easier for him out east because you're unfortunately the teams in the East are kind of stacked with these long guys who can do that. And that's obviously the blueprint to fix them. So I'm not ready to say he's not going to get any better and he's just going to be some guy we look at as always being a regular season guy. But I will say that the blueprint to beat him in the playoffs, if you have the stomach to run that type of defense, is there. If you have the personnel to do it, it's there. And that heat on him next year, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be this feel-good guy who was selling newspapers in Greece a few years ago and now he's an NBA elite. It's going to be, when are you going to deliver? You saw it happen with Dirk Nowitzki. Remember Dirk? Everybody loved Dirk. Oh, this German dude shoots threes. He's out in Dallas, man. We love his game. Then he wasn't winning, right? And when he finally did win, it was like almost a relief for him. Like, man, I can take this shit off my back. That's where we're going to be at with Giannis, man. I think the feel-good phase of the Giannis story is over. I think now he's going to get that same smoke that other guys have gotten. And that's what comes with the territory. But I'm not ready to say, this is a regular season guy. But he needs to 100% improve, and he needs to improve via jump shot and maybe some sort of pull-up game or something. It can't just be that straight line head down to the basket.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then. Because I hate trying to change people's game, right? Like, could he improve and get a better jumper? Of course he can, right? Would that improve his overall game and impact, especially the close games in the fourth quarter? Yes, it would. But if he also had a killer with him that could spread the floor for him a little bit, and when he went to the bucket, it wasn't an option to bring three dudes to jam the paint up because I'm kicking it out to Devin Booker just to pull a name out. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? So
another ball handler, another guy that can take the pressure off of him.
Another ball handler, another guy that is just an absolute killer because Middleton's just not that.
And Middleton had an okay series. At certain points had some solid games, but he's a number 3.
Good basketball player.
He's a number 3. He'd be awesome as a number 3.
Good shooter.
Yeah. Okay defender.
Not a killer.
Not a killer. No killer instinct in him.
Not a killer. He's just not a killer like that. And you need, and what we've learned about the NBA and forever is you need 2 killers. Count 1, 2. You need to be able to have 2 killers where when one's not doing it or can't do it or he's getting locked up going to the basket. My man won 2 MVPs back to back going to the rim.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
unless you have Kawhi Leonard, then you only need one killer, apparently.
Nah, he had killers with him though. He had really, really Toronto had a lot of role player killers. He had.
If that was Kawhi Leonard,
let me see. Kawhi's so sick.
Kawhi's so good at basketball. It doesn't make a difference. He's just so good.
You can talk around it, but you
can't talk around it. I said the other day he's the best closer in the NBA, and it's not just scoring. But continue, my fault.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think obviously I would love for him to come back and shoot it like AD. He needs to go talk to AD. I would love for him to do that, right? Come back, shoot it like AD. But
that's not going to be changing his game. You're not asking him to change his game. You're asking him to he already shoots threes. I think he shoots 5 threes a game. So just hit 1 more per game, get a little bit better, have some sort of pull up so that people can't just sag off you and literally form a brick wall in the paint. You know what I mean? What is this?
Listen. How many times have you heard about a player coming in or young in the league saying, this dude's amazing. He just needs to get a jumper and he can work on it. And how many times have we seen said player come back with the flamethrower and all? Maybe the person that jumps out to me that I think about is Jimmy Butler. He had no type of offensive game, no type of jump shot. And then over a 2-year span, he was lethal from 20 feet.
Slept in the gym.
Yes, he was just lethal from 20 feet. But there's also a whole graveyard of people that are and they're still good hoopers, but it's wait till he gets a jumper, year 6. Wait till he gets a jumper, year 8. It's wait till he gets a jumper, though. It's bro, this jumper not coming.
like Rondo and Rubio. We still waiting for Ricky Rubio's jumper.
Like the jumper. Exactly, right? So it's like
Rubio's getting better than like he can't shoot. But okay, but have you seen? Okay, but to my point earlier, though, have we seen anybody improve the way that Giannis has improved? Because when Giannis first came in the league and people started to see those flashes, they're like, "Oh, wait till he can do this. Wait till he can do that." And guess what? He did that. Wait till he becomes a ball handler. Wait till he becomes a better playmaker. Wait till he figures out how to control himself on defense. Wait till he gets some type of offensive moves. He did all that. So and he's become a better shooter over the last few years. So what is there to say that he's not going to improve and add that next thing? I hear it. That's what separates the good from the great, right? So when you talk about a Jimmy Butler, that's a mentality, obviously, like just like a dude. He grinded his way to do that. But a guy like Giannis, who this is all he cares about. If there's anything we can see, this is all he cares about is hooping, getting better, trying to be a winner, right? And like I don't think it's lip service either. Like this dude, you can see it in his game, you can see it in his body. You can see all of it, right? So who's to say that he's not going to go to the gym and work on that jumper, knowing, man, I got to figure out something else than putting my head down and going to the basket for 4 quarters. So I have some confidence that he's going to add that part to his game. He's going to find what it is that he might need to do to not be as one-dimensional offensively, knowing that that's what's going to hinder him his entire career. I believe in this dude's work ethic. And I believe in his commitment. And I think you might not be able to say that with all those dudes that we mentioned when it's like, yo, wait till you get a jumper. Because to develop a jumper, it's hard. Like to take to your point with Jimmy, like that was hard for him to do that. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing easy about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. So it's like, for me, it's like, how about this? I'm not counting on him to come back with all of a sudden he got a fireball. Right? Like, will it get a little better? Yeah, maybe. But I'm not counting on it. And I'd rather him team up or them make a move to where they have a killer with him.
Of course.
So I guess that's what I'm saying, right? Like,
what do you think's the ideal player to play with Giannis? Like, if you could say, like you mentioned Devin Booker, I think that because he can handle the ball and alleviate some of that responsibility. Who else? If you're the Bucks, are you on the phone with Phoenix trying to get Devin Booker? And what do you have to offer them?
That's where it gets sticky, right? Because you have this Middleton deal now.
You have the Bledsoe deal. They signed Bledsoe during the season last year.
Yeah, you have a Bledsoe deal now.
The Middleton contract is poisoned.
You said they just poured poison in the water.
My God. They had no choice because they want to keep Giannis, so you couldn't afford to let Middleton walk. I would have kept Brogdon, honestly. But yeah.
Yeah, the Brogdon thing is glaring. Bro.
Brogdon is $20 million cheaper than Middleton. Brogdon, to me, is another ball handler, which is what you desperately needed in the playoffs. He's not scared. He can hit the 3 consistently. He plays D. And he's a perfect guy in there for those minutes minutes he's out. He's apparently for 20 minutes a game.
Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, it's an interesting situation. And then we're going to get to Giannis leaving town and what's going to happen there. Is he going to do that? We'll see what we'll close the show with that talk. But salute the Heat. Hey, Heat versus Boston or Toronto is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out your boy No Limit.
Hold on. You see the I can't even, camera's all fucked up, but you see it. You see it. You see it.
No
hey,
Limit Hero.
Sean tried to say my boy wasn't built for this series. There was too much defense out there. There was too much length. He ain't realized the boy is a bucket.
I did say that.
Told you. You said it all.
I said I didn't think that he would make. I like Hero and I like his game.
Yeah. Spo trusts this guy big time. Also, by the way, like let's not understate that. Spo trust. He's a ball handling responsibilities. He's playing 32 minutes a night.
This is Spo's boy.
Yeah, Spo loves this guy, man.
Duncan Robinson hasn't even been playing.
No, it's Spo's guy.
Duncan Robinson probably the best 3-point shooter in the league, and he's not even seeing the floor because Tyler Hero shoots it a little worse than him, but does everything else 10 times better than him.
And I didn't realize the rest of his game was like this either. I mean, he competes on D. He can obviously pass a little bit. He can obviously shoot. Hey,
No limit.
No limit, baby.
No limit, Tyler
No
Hill.
limit
That
hero.
was a problem, dog.
He's a problem. I'm a bucket.
Yeah, and bro, confidence. It's
Yeah.
confident. Doesn't
And Bam
give a fuck.
Adebayo, problematic for the future.
They got some good pieces.
2020 big man.
Oh,
you would create Bam Adebayo.
And hey,
The Dragon.
for how about Spo not starting Dragic and then forcing his hand to put him in the starting lineup, and then Dragic comes out and looks like Dragic from 3 years ago. He's been a massive issue. They had no response for him either.
No answer for Dragic. Like they didn't even know he was on the team. Zero game plan for him.
Yeah, at all. And he's been putting up 20
awesome.
a game.
Yeah, he's been awesome.
Yeah,
he's been awesome.
Let's close this NBA segment out with this. Who would you rather see? Miami, Toronto, or Miami, Boston?
Miami, Boston.
Yeah, those
are the two best teams in the Eastern Conference.
They look like the two best teams in the Eastern Conference.
It'd be a great matchup. Yeah, that has everything you want.
How much of this has to do with the restart? Because it's
a lot.
Simple. It's simple fact that the Bucks and the Raptors were simply the best two teams in the East.
Listen, man, if anybody
doesn't look that way.
The evidence is all there that 100% the bubble has affected this. The lack of everything. If you say that the bubble doesn't affect this, then everything that we've been talking about is having an impact on NBA games and NBA playoff series is bullshit for the past 50 years, right? Then travel doesn't matter. Home court advantage doesn't matter, right? That type of rest and all that stuff doesn't matter. Like, no, it all matters. So not having to go up to Toronto and play over there in Jurassic Park where the fans are crazy, 1,000% matters. Like not going to play in Milwaukee, like some of these, that shit matters. You're just talking about a day of you wake up, hop on a bus and go play ball, and you're not dealing with all the other shit that's going on. Like, 100% it matters. It has a 100% impact on the playoffs. The point where I would say if we weren't in the bubble, you'd probably look at completely different situations. Maybe.
Fair.
Especially with a team like Toronto. I think that home court advantage for Toronto is huge because their fans are crazy. Teams got to go through customs. Nobody's trying to do all that shit. You know what I mean? It's like an extra hour on your flight to Toronto. Motherfuckers be tired.
I'm sure their customs process is pretty smooth. But yeah,
no, don't mess with them bounties over in Canada, Mounties, whatever they call
them. All right, let's switch it over to the NFL because it's back. And the NFL's the NFL. It's a machine, dog.
They wasn't going to stop.
We talked about it. They were always going to play.
They look at that balance sheet. They're like, nah, Rona's going to cost us a little bit too much. You can't do this. Can't stomach it.
They go cancel the NFL? Nah.
You can't stop the Shield.
Cancel the NFL?
Never.
Hell no. Listen, bro. The NFL didn't have any referees. And they went and got people off the street. They're always going to play, bro.
They're going to play regardless. They didn't have they've had scab players before. They didn't have players, and they went and signed a bunch of guys to play.
Exactly. The integrity of their game is on the line. They have referees that are dentists during the day refereeing NFL games, and they didn't blink an eye.
That was so bad. I remember that. Yeah, that was a God. And they were about player safety, and you literally got backup refs.
Dude, they're talking about player safety, and they got me and you reffing the game.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, bro, the NFL was always playing. But let's get on the positive note. It is playing. We do love football. Sometimes it makes me feel bad. Other days it doesn't. But dog, the game is tomorrow. One more sleep. Championship Chiefs versus the newly minted Deshaun Watson cash out. No DeAndre Hopkins though.
Yep.
Is it Christmas morning type of feeling? How you feel about it? I honestly don't have. I have to call Xfinity today to get the NFL TV. I don't have the shit.
Wow.
I don't have the sports package add-on. I gotta add
over
it.
I switched over to YouTube TV, and when I opened it up, they didn't have NFL Network or Red Zone options, so I was kind of like, "Fuck, man." And then I open up on Monday, a notification pops up like, "We have just added the NFL Network, and you have the option to add Red Zone." So we're all good over here, man. Like it's lovely. It's gonna be set up on multiple screens. Like I'm set up perfectly. Nah, man. I'm with this game. First off, shout out to Deshaun Watson. Deserves every penny. 4 years, $156 million. Got the short-term deal. Got the cash that he wanted.
The short-term.
The short-term deal is available.
Man, it's available.
Got the cash that he wanted, and also set a little market for my man Dak. I think that's the type of deal that Dak should be looking at. That 4-year, $160 million range. So shout out to him, man.
That's
really happy
exactly
for him.
What he wants.
Yeah, and I think he's a gamer. I really hate that they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. And I hate their coach. I absolutely think Bill O'Brien is one of the worst coaches in the NFL. I've been on that the last 2 playoffs. Like he's a trash coach, super trash. Fire that guy ASAP. But I hate bad coaching, man. I can go on we should have a show where we just talk about bad coaching.
Well, it's because you hate bad coaching. It's because you see so much talent being wasted, and it's always glaring.
Yeah.
There's never like, I wonder if he's a bad coach or not. It's like, no, my man. Like, this dude is whack.
This guy has no situational awareness.
Yeah, every week. He proves it season in, season out, every week, on and off. And yeah.
Who did they lose to? Did they lose to the Titans in the playoffs? Watch their playoff. Watch the fourth.
They lost to Buffalo.
The Buffalo. Watch the fourth quarter of their playoff game last year. I remember we talked about it at the time. I don't remember everything that happened, but it was egregious. He should have been charged with a misdemeanor after that coaching performance of how bad it was.
Yeah, it was bad.
So that game tomorrow, I think the Chiefs are going to rout them. I'm not worried about the outcome of that. Staying away from anything gambling related with some of this stuff, just because we haven't seen folks play in the preseason, so I don't really know what it's going to look like. Not like I take a whole bunch of stock in the preseason, but you kind of want to see, how people look. So I'm gonna stay away from it from a gambling perspective. I say that
no Super Bowl party hangover
for the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I think Patrick Mahomes is different. He's had a great offseason though. He's been living his life,
dude.
Patty Mahomes been all over the place. He's the toast of the town.
Hey, we seen this movie, bro. He got engaged a couple weeks ago. He got a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, true.
Texans first half talk.
You're on it?
No, I ain't say all that.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm excited about that, man. And then, just looking forward to Sunday, obviously. Full slate. It's nothing better.
Yeah. The other big stories we're going to break down right now. Odell, the Hopkins contract, and then we'll talk Trubisky Foles, and then we'll get to stop the cap. But we're back. The season's back. Where are you at if you're in the Browns locker room and something comes out like the story about Odell comes out? Is it I could give a fuck about that. That has nothing to do with football. He's been at practice. He's been busting his ass. Or is it like, does it rub you a little bit the wrong way? You feel like it's a distraction, or where are you at with that type of thing?
If I'm on the team?
Give me
yes.
Go ahead.
What am I gonna do? Get mad at him because of his sexual preferences? Like, how dare you let someone shit on your chest, man? We got a championship to win. Like, no. If anything, like, you're laughing at it. I mean, first off, man, look, these dudes live a high profile life, right? So shit's gonna come out. Their personal lives are not very personal, especially when you start finding the slim dangers of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, Shorty is not up to his caliber.
And shout out to Dustin for I was like, I've heard of her before. I knew what she was on, and Dustin, this is the one Nine was taking out. Remember when Nine was taking out? She keeps baby mama, like, taking her shopping and shit.
Oh, was that her?
Yeah, it was her.
Oh wow.
So shout out Dustin for the call out on that last night's Zoom call. But yeah. Listen, man, it's not a distraction. I don't know if it's funny. He's going to get clowned. Dudes are going to be referencing it for the rest of the year. DBs are definitely going to be talking about it with him and stuff like that. But it's not like he went out and got a DUI or got arrested or did some truly stupid shit that, is a distraction to the season. It's just like, look, man, he messed with the chick. He likes to get shit on. Perfectly believe story. I don't think this chick got on the radio and just decided to say, yeah, you know, I took a shit on Odell Beckham Jr.'s chest. So I fully believe the situation. I fully believe the story. With that being said, man, it's just some funny shit, no pun intended. Like, he's just gonna get clowned on by the guys, but I don't think it's gonna have anything to do with his focus. It's not like there's a lawsuit or he did something criminal or he's got some shit to worry about. It's almost like when the Dwight Howard shit came out last year. It's just like, you know, okay.
Yeah, that's what you do. You do your
That's
thing.
what you do. Yeah, and even this, you might clown Odell more for this than you would the Dwight Howard shit, because there's obviously some more issues with the Dwight Howard thing, if that's really his preference. But you're just gonna clown him, man. Like, bro, you got shat on. Like, oh yeah, you see him with a new chick, like shit on your chest, you know, like there's gonna be some memes, but you know.
Mean, if I'm in the locker room, I am relentless on Odell. Well, this is the thing, right? It depends who you are. So, like, there's not very many people in that locker room that can probably like talk to him at all in a negative way.
Yeah,
He's gonna be like, "Gee, who
are you?
Who is this guy?"
Yeah, who are
right?
you? See my commercials?
But
I was in the Drake video.
But Landry,
on him.
Jarvis, oh my
his guy.
gosh,
Yeah,
oh my god, I'm on him so wild. Like, yo, bro, I know you got down like that. You wild boy.
He's a wild boy, man. What happened? You wild, bro.
So, yeah, bro, that's an interesting thing. But yeah, bro, listen.
To each his own, man.
If you show up and catch touchdowns, none of this shit matters ever.
Yep. And let's keep it real. Some of y'all like some nasty shit too. So just keep it moving. What happens behind closed doors, that's what he's into. I don't judge that man. I don't look at him any different. There's other things I dislike Odell for, and it's not getting shit on. So whatever.
Yeah.
To each his own, man. Hey, look, he's a multimillionaire. He might be sick of the regular. He wants somebody to show his chest, man. Hey, there's levels to this.
Levels, big levels.
We ain't even there yet. You can't even fathom getting at that level when you want somebody to shit on your chest. So
yeah, she gotta sign an NDA or something.
100%. What? She's coming.
If you know you're gonna be requesting that type of shit,
dog. She coming through with the Brown sports, yeah.
Because she said that he had flown her out and he asked her for a video.
Yeah, she said she made it look sexy.
So, like, if you know you're about to be doing all that, and you know what this chick's about, she's a super ratchet, clout chasing,
Chief Keef's baby mama
type of lady.
Yeah.
Then you got to take all precautions. I don't know, man. At least have a super hot chick shitting on your chest.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, if you want a chick to shit on your chest,
girl's diet didn't even look right. Like,
he's not gonna find the IG model that's gonna shit on his chest, man. You have to find Slim Danger for that. That's what she's available for, bro.
You don't think you can find man?
Dog, he can find as many bad chicks as he wants, man. Like, this is Odell Beckham Jr., bro. Sometimes you want to find a chick who's gonna take a shit on your chest, and that's Slim Danger. And if she happens to look like that, you're not worried. You're just looking up.
Why is her name? Her name is Slim Danger.
Yeah, I think it's Slim Danger. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. She's available.
The
menu is extensive.
To stay on,
she gonna put that shit on OnlyFans.
To stay on the wide receiver tip.
Wide receiver.
The wide out. You know, these wide outs are wild boys, man.
Yeah.
Let's go to DeAndre Hopkins. 2-year extension worth $54.5 million in new money. 27.25 per, 42.75 guaranteed at signing. And he negotiated it by himself. Shout out DeAndre Hopkins. He's probably been the most unappreciated, or I won't say unappreciated because he's appreciated, but I'll say underappreciated wide receivers throughout his career. He never complained. He had a lot of bullshit quarterbacks before Deshaun Watson showed up. He never said anything. He just caught the rock, did his thing. And now he has a massive restart out in Arizona with an emerging young quarterback that looks like he's going to be able to make shit happen.
I like Kyler.
Yeah, he's been able to show that he's going to make shit happen, getting out of the pocket with his feet, wants to throw first, but is very mobile as well. And they got, hey, listen, I don't think Kingsbury's a good coach. I don't think he deserved the job in Arizona, but if there's one thing that he wants to do, he's going to throw the rock. So that's all fun and good for DeAndre Hopkins. So shout out to Hopkins. How you feel about the deal? Let me find this list of paid wide receivers. He was kind of in the middle of the pack, but how you feel about the deal and how you feel about him negotiating it himself? He probably saved himself $1.5 million on the agent fee.
Definitely. And I didn't realize that he had negotiated his own contract. So big shout out to him because sometimes when you see that happen, guys end up getting screwed. But yeah, definitely shout out to him. I love it, man. I love that the NFL money overall is starting to catch up. I think for years you would see like the NBA free agency and you got B and C level players getting $20 to $30 million a year. And then you go over to the NFL and household names are making, $6-7 million a year. So I think obviously something shifted over the last couple years. And I really got to give credit. I hate to say this. I hate to say it but I'm not going to give any. No, I'm not going to give any football credit to this man. But I think Kirk Cousins kind of started this as far as just getting all this guaranteed money, betting on yourself and just saying, no, you're going to pay me. Like, I don't care if I am Kirk Cousins, you're going to pay me. So I love to see Hopkins get this kind of money, man. I think he's a great player. I think that's a great fit out there in Arizona. Huge for them to go out and get him. If you got a young quarterback, you got to give him some talent to play with. You got to give him some good receivers. And I think that they did that, man. So I'm all for it. And I love that he negotiated himself. Now, I wouldn't recommend all players do that because, again, DeAndre Hopkins is at the top of the list. So he kind of knows what he's going to go in there and ask for, whereas other guys can get screwed out when doing that. So, I mean, just make sure you know what you're doing before you go and do this. But I love it, man. I really love the precedent that it's setting now for paying quality NFL players like they should get paid.
Yeah, and I think Dak Prescott's going to do exactly what Kirk Cousins did. He's going to tax you. He's going to tax you next year, and then he's going to ask for the short-term deal and get paid out, just like Kirk did.
Yeah.
And hopefully, it seems like that's the route. Hopefully, it works out. He stays healthy and does his thing and continues to play well. But yeah, this new deal for DeAndre Hopkins puts him up there with Julio. This year, let me ask you this. I bet you don't know who the third highest for 2020, the third highest wide receiver, pay scale-wise. Number one is DeAndre Hopkins at 27.25 now. Then it's Julio at 22. Who do you think is number three?
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen. Okay, did you look it up?
No, I just knew he just signed his deal the other day. Yeah.
And he's also another underappreciated dude. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's good. I love him on Hard Knocks too.
Yeah, he's great.
I like his whole demeanor.
His whole swagger is great.
His whole swag is great.
Yeah.
Keenan. I only know that. I'm not going to pretend like I know a bunch. I just knew that because he just signed his deal the other day, and I figure if he just signed his deal, it's going to be up there.
Yeah.
Hey, get your money, all y'all. Get your money or don't show up.
Amari
Simple
Cooper.
And plain. Understand your power in this league. Get your money or don't show up.
Period. That's it. That's it.
Hey,
and
cool.
Don't show up till they give it to you.
Fax me the offer or don't fax me at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, that's it.
Exactly.
I'm good. Zeke already told you I'm going to Cabo. You can reach me.
I'll be working out.
I got unlimited data. I'll be available. Just call me. You know what I'm saying? But
thanks.
Call me with the cash.
Then we got Amari Cooper, Mike Thomas, AJ Green. Shout out AJ Green.
Mike Thomas, I know he just signed his deal, but he should renegotiate already for Hopkins getting his money because Mike Thomas is problematic.
No cap. No cap. He's underpaid already. That's why we were screaming from the rooftops about the Dak deal.
Yeah.
It's like, dog, you can't try to underpay me right now under some guys that are already paying because I know in 3 years I'm going to be underpaid again. So
they fucked up by not signing him last offseason.
Yes.
Because they're going to pay him $45 million a year over 4 years.
Yeah, and he was asking for a new deal.
He was asking for 35, like 4. He's not going to get the Mahomes deal, but he's 100% going to get the Watson deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like Odell's down at 7 now. Tariq Hill's tied for 7th with at 18 with Odell. He's underpaid. Mike Evans is going to have a monster year. Shout out. Okay, Brandon Cooks, who's now in Houston.
He's on his 15th team in 6 years.
And I saw a figure. Well, first off, the Rams are still over the cap.
Of course.
They're like, the season starts tomorrow. They're over the cap right now. Like,
they have to.
Bro, they're over the cap. The Rams are over the cap by like $400K or something.
Like unplayable to start the season over the cap.
Like, bro, you need to get under the cap. Like, yeah.
They fucked up that situation so bad.
But it's tough. And I was reading it. I think it was Warren Sharp actually was talking about how it's tough for you to be under the cap when they're paying Todd Gurley $9.5 million to not play. And Brandon Cooks $21.5 million to not play.
$30 million to guys that are not on your roster.
So, like, yeah, it's hard to be under the cap.
Mm-hmm. And you're paying Jared Goff a whole bunch of money to play, but not really play.
Yeah, and he stinks.
Yeah, so that's what I mean.
Regular season guy. He's not even. He's like the first half of the regular season guy. He's like the first 8 games guy.
It was 2 years ago. It was the second half of that year that they went to the Super Bowl. It was really ever since he played the Bears in whatever that, like week 10 of that year that the Rams went to the Super Bowl. He has not been a good quarterback. Very shaky.
Tyler Boyd is making more money than Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. You should see this list, this wide receiver list.
Is the wideout list?
Julian Edelman making 7.7. He's been making that for like a decade.
They need to give my man Allen Robinson $20 million a year.
Smoked off. Devontae Parker's underpaid.
Free A-Rob.
He's up there though. A-Rob is number 15 at 14 per. So I mean,
yeah,
he's about right. That's about right for him, I would say. He's not better than any of the guys in front of him. And he's good. I mean, he's not better than Diggs, Devontae Adams, Landry, Thielen.
How do we know? He's been playing with Mitch Trubisky. He was awesome last year when they could get the fucking ball to him.
That's true.
Yeah.
And speaking of Mitch Trubisky,
dun dun dun.
Let's get our final. Let's get
this out the way.
Let's just get this out the way, bro. And let me try to be civil because I think it's very clear on where I stand and how I feel about Mitch Trubisky starting. So, where are you at with the narrative that if you start Mitch, you can bench him, but if you started Foles, that's it. It's a wrap for Trubisky, and you don't even have a backup now. You kind of lost him and his mental as a backup.
That's bullshit. You can bench and start whoever you want to, because if you start Nick Foles and he's not playing well to the point where you want to see another quarterback, you throw Mitch Trubisky in because you're paying him to be on your football team and to be the backup quarterback. That's his job. People are saying,
do you want to have it like week to week? Is that what you're saying, or what do you mean? Because you don't want to have it week to week where it's like who's playing?
No. You name your starter. That is your starter, and they're the starter until they can't hold that job down anymore. What's so difficult about this? I feel like we've almost gotten to the point now where it's like we're playing these mental fragility games with these quarterbacks where it's like, oh man, we need to. If he starts on day one, he needs to know he's going to be there for 17 weeks. No, it's like any other position, man. If a linebacker starts missing tackles, guess what? You put in another fucking linebacker. If you have a quarterback, and he's not making plays, right? And these are things that are his fault that he's not executing on. You move on and you have another quarterback. I mean, luckily you have two guys with experience.
But where do you draw the line, though?
What line?
If Trubisky comes out and plays really well game 1, but then plays bad game 2 and 3, you pull him?
You look at the totality of the situation, and if just like you evaluate your roster constantly. I don't know how would you. Same question for a linebacker. Same question for your corners. Same question for your offensive linemen. If they have a great game 1, but then game 2, they're not good. Game 3, they're getting really bad. And in practice, you're watching, you're like, hey man, this is not going to get better. Then you make your move. That's what you're paid to do. I don't understand why we have to tiptoe around this. I don't understand.
You can't jump back and forth though.
You can't jump, but why? You have two shitty quarterbacks. Whose feelings are we worried about hurting here? You need to do what gives you the best chance to win football games. Right. I'm sick of these rules of you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't start with Trubisky, then bench him because you might hurt his confidence. Or if you start with Foles, you might as well cut Mitch because his confidence is gone. No, he's your backup quarterback. Now he's your starter. Nick Foles is your backup. If Mitch Trubisky doesn't get it done, Nick Foles should be pushing him in practice every single week, and you should have it. Neither one of them has earned the right to not get fucking yanked. You can yank him in the game if you want to. We're in a situation where we clearly have, if this guy couldn't beat out Mitch Trubisky, well, then he's not a very good quarterback. So we're rolling with two not very good quarterbacks, and you just got to put out whoever's going to help you win a ball game. Forget all the conventional shit. We have wasted too much time on this. We've wasted too much time on this. I'm done. Just do what's going to help you win. I don't want to hear it, man. Nick Foles can handle it. He's been benched before.
I was waiting on you to say something else. That's it?
That's it, man. I just don't understand. Like I've heard so many different like, yeah, like, oh well, now you gotta roll with Trubisky. If you bench Trubisky in week 3, it's over with. It was over with 2 fucking years ago. Where have you been? What are we waiting to not be over with Mitch Trubisky? It is over. But if he's the best guy on the roster, then he got the job. But if I don't listen, man. 2 weeks ago, Matt Nagy couldn't tell you if Mitch Trubisky has made improvements. So that tells you how bad Foles was. But you knew I saw this decision coming about a week ago when you started hearing some of the comments. The fact he had named Foles the starter a week ago should have let you know.
Whose call is this? Nagy's or Pace's call?
Nagy's. This is a Matt Nagy call. I think we talked about. We knew this was we can't go back on that. We said it. This is Matt Nagy's making this decision. I don't think Nagy. Yeah, I think it's a Matt Nagy decision, 100%. I don't think Ryan Pace made this decision.
You don't think he had a conversation with him?
No, I mean, no. Because I don't think that if Ryan Pace wanted Mitch Trubisky to start, why would he put so much into Foles? You could have brought in Andy Dalton and be like, hey, Mitch Trubisky beat out Andy Dalton. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, no, I think he was really set on upgrading the quarterback position, and they picked the wrong guy. Like, that's what happened here. There's nothing else at play. Like, let's just call it what it is.
How can you miss so poorly, though?
The same way that you missed on this quarterback to begin with.
Yeah.
You misrolled the quarterback. We know what happened with the quarterback situation. They misread the market.
Yeah, they misread the market. They jumped out early. They were the Big Ten of the NCAA.
Yeah, they misread the market like crazy because you saw Dalton go for $1 million. You saw Jameis go for $1 million. You saw Cam go for $1 million. Yeah, each of these guys had their own problems, but it's not like Nick Foles is a perfect quarterback. So, yeah, you misread the market. But I'll give them this. If Foles or Trubisky did beat out Mitch, if Trubisky did beat out Nick Foles, then I got to take my hat off to Nagy for making that decision because he knew that was a tough decision to make. He knew what the fans wanted. There's not too many people left on Trubisky Island. So, I mean, he must have really beat him out. That's what I'm saying. Foles must have been fucking terrible.
He didn't beat him out.
He beat him out.
I think there wasn't a true training camp. There wasn't any preseason game. This would have been the most interesting preseason of our lifetime.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd have been locked in.
We would have been locked in. We would have legit had 2 quarterbacks to watch. They'd have been playing 3 quarters.
Yeah.
We'd have been able to see what was going on. I think how short is the leash
for Mitch?
Yeah, and if you're Matt Nagy, be Matt Nagy for a second. And how short is the leash? Man,
I mean, here's the thing.
I'm going to tell you this, bro.
Nick Foles is that shitty.
Hey, Nick, bro, I'm going to tell you this right now, bro. This guy Trubisky comes out first half and looks like he usually looks. They're going to be calling for his head at halftime, bro.
Well, and that's the other thing. You got to deal with the rest of the locker room. So the leash is as short as the rest of the locker room is going to allow it to be. And that's where he's going to feel his pressure from. So, yeah, if Trubisky comes out and throws out a stinker, yes, you're going to Nick Foles. As I said, listen, man, we're winning 4 ball games this year.
No, we won't be that bad. The D's going to be good. We're gonna be solid.
4 ball games this year, guys.
But
strap in.
Our division is loaded.
Loaded.
The NFC in general is fucking loaded.
Matt Stafford's coming back to work. I mean, like, this is not a good situation for us, man.
So it's very clear that I think Mitch Trubisky is a bad quarterback, and I don't think he needs any more chances. I think last year was the last that was it for me. He had a full fucking year in a new system, and they cater to him, and it's blatantly obvious. Either Matt Nagy is the worst coach in the league, which I don't think is true, or Trubisky's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. The things that Nagy was doing to try to protect Trubisky and not put him out there and not make him look bad and dumb everything down was something that shouldn't be happening for NFL quarterbacks, and it was. So, and then you go give up a 4th-round pick and you go sign this guy to a whole bunch of 20 M's, and literally he's the worst quarterback outside of Andy Dalton that's available probably. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So,
well, and I'd much rather pay Andy Dalton $1 million than Nick Foles $20 million in the 4th-round pick.
Without
there's not much separation. You know what I mean? Like I get it. Foles got hot and has had his moments, but
yeah. So, man, listen, bro. You already know how this goes. Every incomplete pass, Fox is going to be panning to Nick Foles.
Yeah,
it's going to be like interception. They're going to pan to Nick Foles immediately
with his little half sleeves that he wears and shit.
Yeah, like so. It's going to be interesting. But we'll leave it there, man. I'm excited to see what happens. Hey, it's going to give us a lot to talk about. I know that.
Yep.
For good or bad. Hey, listen, and I hope I eat my words, bro. I hope this guy comes out and looks like Brett Favre.
That'd be great.
Yeah, but
it's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
You know?
Yes.
Hey, just like I told you, I know bad coaching. I also know bad quarterbacking.
We've seen a lot of bad quarterbacks.
I've seen a lot of guys who just don't have it, and he's what he does not have. So.
Yes. All right, let's close the show. Stop the cap, bro.
Pinocchio.
Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. Question number 1. Stop the cap. Cap or no cap, Nick?
Yo, so it dawned on me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some of our audience might not understand the meaning of the word cap, so I think you might have to let them know. Okay.
A cap. If you say no cap, that's not a lie. If you say no, bro, you're capping, that you're lying, bro. Stop lying. Cap or no cap. Cap is lie. Good call, quick. Okay, first one. Giannis Antetokounmpo on possibly leaving the Milwaukee Bucks this offseason. That's not happening. Some see a wall and go in another direction. I plow through it. That's what Giannis said on possibly leaving Milwaukee. Cap or no cap?
Yeah, sounds good now. Sounds good now until your phone rings and it says Riley Patrick on it. Caller ID. With that 305 area code, baby.
Stop the cap.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap, man. This dude is different, but I don't think he's that different. So
what do you mean?
So people are like, "Oh, Giannis is different, man. He's so loyal. He's so loyal. He'll never leave there." And I'm like, "Look, man, he's in rare air where his career will be incomplete without a championship. Only so many guys can say that. Like, only so many guys can say that.
His legacy is in jeopardy.
Very in jeopardy if he does not win championships.
If it comes down to it, he's going to pick with an S.
S.
He's going to pick his legacy over the city of Milwaukee.
Now, can he force his hand to the Milwaukee front office and get them to start retooling and changing some shit? And will he be willing to be patient while they do that? It depends on how much he trusts that current infrastructure at Milwaukee, right? But if there's a situation where he can leave and go to somewhere else and start getting rings, man, we've seen it with so many guys that the allure of doing that is just too hard to leave. I think the only guy you will see not do that is Dame Lillard. Like, I think Dame, you want to talk about like loyalty and like,
hey, listen, and I agree with you. You want to talk about loyalty? Dame's got it. And will it be a mistake? Probably.
You but I know he will never add. Like, I just listened to him on Reddick's podcast the other day. This dude is just like cut from that loyalty cloth. Like, if the team was 15-67 every year, he's like, "No, I'm good. I'm here." He's also getting 40 M's a year, but
he's the man out there.
Yeah, he's the man out there. Like, they love him out there.
Yeah,
and I just don't know this Milwaukee situation, man. Their cap situation is bad. The team is not a young team, so it's not like, hey, I got this young dude that I'm partnering with for the next few years. He's the youngest player on the team. So yeah, I don't know.
So stop the cap or
Stop the cap.
stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Stop the cap right now.
Giannis is all cap right now.
Okay. Number 2. Listen, this was a request from Nick the Quick. Cap or no cap? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have a tweet on the video. It says, repeat after me. I don't even know who this tweet is, but it reminded me similarly of what Big Nick the Quick said. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the most overrated team in recent memory. Remember the Browns last season? While everyone was all over them, I called for a 7-9 or 8-8 season. Gun to head, Bucks missed the playoffs. Cap or no cap?
Which part? The miss the playoffs part or
Not
the fact
to
that
miss
they're
the playoffs,
overrated?
just that they're overrated and they're not going to be as good as everyone says.
No cap. No cap. We see this in the NFL all the time. All these super teams, this is not the NBA. In the NFL, whenever you see, remember the Eagles super team when they kept adding all these dudes that year and then they were running this wide 9 defense and all this weird shit. And it was like, oh, the Eagles, they're going to dominate in the league. Didn't make the playoffs. Last year, the Browns, oh man, they added in Odell. They got all these guys. Kareem Hunt, when he comes back from suspension, didn't make the playoffs. The thing with the Bucks that scares me, and you know it means a lot if I'm saying this, is that I don't know how much I can trust. Man, I don't know how the right way to say this. I'm nervous about a 43-year-old quarterback being taken out of his comfort zone and being put somewhere else and being expected to like elevate. Like Tom Brady doesn't need to just be like, okay, like they're expecting him to be really good at quarterback. And I don't know if that's necessarily in the cards. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think that he's a bum. I don't think that he's, going to be terrible, but I just feel like, man, you're operating out of so much comfort in New England. Right? You know the guy who opens the door when you walk in the stadium. You know the dude who parks your car. You know the bathroom attendant. Like all of that matters. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're 43. You know, the older you get, you don't want to deal with changing shit. I'm 33 and I don't like change at this point. Like, yo, keep my shit how it is. I don't want to deal with. I don't want new people. I don't want none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so I think all that plays into it. And he's 43 years old. So obviously, like the age and all that's going to play a factor too. And I love Tom Brady. I'm just not prepared to say that like, yo, throwing Brady in there, he's going to throw 40 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. I think you're still dealing with some issues that might arise with a 43-year-old quarterback in a new system with a bunch of guys who haven't done anything before. Like they signed Fournette and someone was like, "Oh, this is the Warriors." I'm like, Fournette just got cut by the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, let's keep it real here.
Look. So I'm going to say stop the cap because some teams deserve being hyped up. Others don't. This team deserves the hype. If you watch the Buccaneers last year, their defense was outrageous. Their defensive line is outrageous. They add Gronk on top of Godwin, Mike Evans, and they add Fournette, a solid run game, and Brady with Bruce Arians. I think Bruce Arians is a big thing here. We were talking about the Browns being really, really good, and Freddie Kitchens was the head coach. So Arians has a little more, we'll call it expertise, a little more experience.
Yeah.
And let's talk about their division. Carolina is going to be weak. Atlanta is Atlanta. They're going to be 7-9. Atlanta's the Bears of the NFC South.
Okay.
I mean, they don't play the same style of football, but it's like they should be better than they are all the time, and they're always fucking very mediocre.
Mediocre, yeah.
Untrustworthy, essentially. And, hey, the Saints are the Saints, but they're going to take a step back this year. I think they went 13-3 last year. Like, I don't see that for them this year. They're still going to be good, but the real juggernaut in that division is the Saints, and the Bucs will be able to deal with them. Stop the cap on them missing the playoffs. I think they do miss.
Yeah, that's
I think
cap.
they make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's cap. But then I do think they are overrated. Wildly. The Gronk thing, come on, man.
Man, niggas forget so quick, huh? Gronk a fucking animal.
Guy's been popping e-pills for the last 12 months on South Beach.
Gronk is a beast. People so soon to forget. But yeah, it'll be interesting. And Do we all get to see it starting next week?
Man.
Brady come back refreshed. I'm telling you, they just wanted to get away from Belichick. He come back looking like
found the youth.
yeah, straight up him and Gronk. So we'll see. Anything else you want to stop the cap on before we get out of here?
Nah, man, I'm just ready to get going, man. 100% ready to get going. NFL gearing up. NBA playoffs full swing. Let me ask you this, man. What is your finals prediction as it stands right now, and how many games? I need it all.
Celtics, Clippers in 6.
Okay.
If that's just legit, like off the cuff, Celtics. Listen, I think we knew the Celtics had options and weapons. It seems like, especially when Smart is hitting jumpers, it seems like infinite.
Yeah.
So like, and then you got Theis running the floor. It's like,
Theis is nice, man.
Yo, bro, this guy. So it's like, man, you need a one-on-one bucket. Kemba is one of the best one-on-one players in basketball. Yep. Then you need I can do anything bucket. Give it to Jason Tatum. Then Jaylen Brown is like a step below Jason Tatum. But Jaylen Brown is a dog. Then you got this guy. I don't even know his first name. I think it's Jalen Williams. What's his first name?
Robert Williams or something like that. Yeah, who is this guy? This guy's great. Yeah.
This guy comes off the bench and he's just running the floor, impacting stuff on D, dunking shit. So like
rim runner.
Yeah, rim runner. We knew they had this stable of players, and we know the coaching. They look tough, man. I've never seen. I wouldn't say never, but it's been rare to see over the last couple of years Toronto get locked up and have no answer for anything on O, and then have a hard time on D, and that's what's happening in this Boston series.
100%, yeah. And
so
real quick,
that's why I got to go with Boston.
Real quick before we get out of here, we were talking about money and we were talking about the LA Rams. Just across the ticker, Jalen Ramsey signs for 5 years, $105 million. Largest deal ever for a corner. So where is the money coming from?
Well, I have no idea, honestly, to be honest. Because like if you look at the deals that they've signed
they signed huge
3
deals.
seasons.
Yeah.
They just signed. Everybody gets $150 million, and it's like I don't know where this money's coming from, bro.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. You had to do that when you traded for him.
Yeah.
You had to sign.
Knew that.
You knew that when you traded for Ramsey that you were going to have to sign him for $100 million.
And he was very clear about what he wanted.
He was very clear that that's what was going to happen.
This is what's going to happen.
So
y'all figure it out, man.
It's I don't know who's running shit over there. I don't know the GM of the Rams. But this is not how you build a championship squad. There's too many people being paid tons and tons of money, and they're gonna have holes all over the field because of it. It's just how it works.
Yeah, just hold on to Aaron Donald and just go forward.
Yeah, Donald. I mean, think about it. Donald got paid. Gurley got paid. Cooks got paid. Goff got paid. Didn't Whitworth get paid?
Whitworth got paid. Ramsey got paid.
Ramsey got paid.
I think they paid somebody else too. Yeah.
Didn't they went and got the DN from I feel like they gave a little bit of money to my man from Jacksonville, Flowers.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
It's just like I don't bro, they're just
cap purgatory.
You don't want to have 6 guys making the top 80% of the cap.
Right.
And then the other 40 guys.
When you're a non-playoff team now too. So
yeah, exactly. So and then you got guys like San Francisco not paying anybody, like on offense, their whole offense. No, Garoppolo is getting paid, but the rest of everybody else from their team that gets paid is on defense and the offensive line.
Right.
So it's like that's a tough matchup. Then you got to worry about Seattle. Like the NFC is loaded.
Mm-hmm.
So, and joke all you want about the NFC East, like they usually go toe to toe, but dude, Dallas is going to be solid. Philly's going to be really solid.
Daniel Jones.
Dude, Minnesota's going to be really good. Green Bay's always around. There's a lot of teams in the NFC. So I guess, hey, Tampa is going to have tough sledding. So
that's why they play the games.
That NFC West is loaded.
That's why they play the games. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. All right, that's it for No Catch Up, September 9th, 2020. It's crazy to say that.
Wow.
NFL's tomorrow. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. Make sure you lock in with us across the board. Apple, Apple, iTunes, Spotify. You know the deal, man. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. Let's get it.